Welcome to Click Report's Cross Battery Assessment Smart Template. I'm going to walk you through how to use this one and also give you some useful tips and tricks along the way. Okay, so when you first come to this Smart Template, you're going to see this blue box, and this allows you to change your table in whatever way you need. For instance, if you gave more than 2 subtests within the comprehension or knowledge area, maybe you needed to follow up in that area because your scores were way off from each other, you're going to add that subtest using this plus symbol. And then you can remove it too by using the minus symbol. So however you need to manipulate your table, you're able to do so using those plus and minus buttons. Okay, next thing on this smart template is our scaled score to standard score converter. You can see it would be really confusing if you use the WIS, which uses your scaled scores, comparing that to the WJ, which uses our standard scores. So we want to get these all as standard scores so that we can use this in a way in our table that's not completely confusing to everybody who reads your report. Okay, so to do this, you're just going to either use these buttons to change your number, or you can backspace and put in whatever you need there. And your standard score will show up right below that. And this is the score you want to use to put into your table. So after we do that, we're going to come down to our table, and you will notice that we put in some information for subtests on our composites. We really just selected popular ones, but you are able to completely take away anything that does not make sense for your battery and type in whatever you need to in this area. So matrix reasoning is auto-populating because that's a common one that I use there. All right. After you have that, you have the option of putting in your test administered. If this is not something that you want to use, and this is not something that you report, it's just not your style, you are totally welcome to leave this out and skip this step, because after we copy and paste our table, you're able to delete that column. It's really up to you if you want to report this or not. Okay, and after I do that, we're going to go over to our standard score, and this is going to operate the same way as the rest of our smart templates do. You'll put in your scores. You might have to, go up and use your score converter, and you'll put in whatever scores you have there, and your percentile and your descriptor will change dynamically for you. And your bell curve will also change dynamically as you type stuff into this table. And just a note, I use the tab button on my keyboard to get from row to row. That's just personal preference. You're also able to use just your pointer and go down. Just for me, I find it's quicker if I just kind of like tab around. Okay, so after I have my table set, let's pretend I filled this all the way in. I am going to scroll down. I have the option of reporting confidence intervals. Just by checking this box, that column will appear for you. So if that's something that you typically report, you can do so just by checking this box. And a quick note on this, you might notice that your numbers are going to run off of the page, and it'll look like, what you typed in is not there. Do not worry. Once you copy and paste this number will show up in your table and it'll all be there. It just looks like that on the screen right now. Okay, so if you need that, it is there for you. And now I'm going to type in my examinee name and select my examinee gender. And then I'm going to go ahead and generate narrative by clicking this button. I'm just going to quickly point out kind of what this narrative is doing. We have just a quick blurb about cognitive processes, and then each section is defined, and then the score is listed, and the last sentence of each section will say either suggest that these skills facilitate, or it will say inhibit, and this is going to be based on the score that you input into the table. Okay. And now after we have our narrative, we have our table. Now we want to take all this stuff and actually put it into our report. So whether you use a report application or a Word document, go open that up. And we have two separate copy table buttons. I'm going to show you both of those. So for this one, the first copy table button gives you a table that is completely editable. And I'm going to show you that. After I copy it, I'm going to have these different paste options over here too. So this first paste option is going to keep everything in the font that we have on the website, or you can use the second paste option that will convert it to whatever font you use within your report application. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that over. And this is where I was saying if you don't do that test administered and you don't feel like putting this information in, or you don't feel like it's useful for people, you can highlight this and you can either push your backspace button to remove it or right click and just click delete columns. And then you're able to move this table however you need it, however you like it. Whatever you think makes it look pretty, you can manipulate and do to it, okay? So that is our first copy table button. Next, we have our copy narrative button, and this is going to highlight everything that's on the screen, and then you can paste it over. And same thing with the table, you can keep source formatting, which will use our font, or you can merge formatting to use your own. All right, so that would go there. And then we also have this copy composite summary. And if you scroll down the page, it copied this quick summary of the score. So everything we put in our table, you can have in a quick summary here. People use this in different ways. Some people like to put this in the summary section. Some people use report applications that require a summary in a different section where your report isn't even at. So this makes it so you're not having to take that table and redo that whole table in a whole different new section. So there's that feature for you. And then we are going to show you the copy picture of table. And what this does is it's going to take our table, and after you click this, please wait for this copied picture confirmation. If you just click that really quick and go over, it's not going to be within your clipboard. You have to wait till you get that confirmation, and it might take just a second. Okay, and then you'll paste this over. I use Control V to paste, or you can right click as well. All right, and this will just take a picture of your table. Some people use the copied picture of table because the other table might not integrate with their system. It really just depends on what you like best. This is not an editable picture, so that kind of makes a big difference. Some people don't want to edit, and that's totally fine. But people who really want to edit that table and change it in different ways, you're going to have to use that first copy table button. Okay. And the last thing that I want to get is that beautiful bell curve. So I'm going to scroll down, and the bell curve copy is always going to be within its section. So it's not going to have a button here. And we try to kind of say that here, but sometimes people miss that. Totally understandable. So you'll scroll down and you're going to hit that copy bell curve. And just like the other button, you need to wait until you get that confirmation that says copied. And then you will come over to your report application and you will paste it in. And you can make this bigger. You can turn your page around so that you can put this on a whole page. And I can show you how to do that too. So if you want your bell curve, maybe it's something that you give a parent, you can put it on a whole page and just resize this so that they can better see it. All right, that wraps up our cross battery assessment tutorial. Happy reporting, everybody. And if you need anything at all, please contact our support team at support@schoolsiteclickreport.com.